right, Larry Krueger here from the Pig and a Pickle Krug Show with a little San Francisco Giant video. The Giants are playing well. They enter this Padres series with a 39-32 record and 3.5 games behind the Arizona Diamondbacks ahead of the Dodgers and the Padres in the National League West. They just swept the Dodgers in Los Angeles, finishing up a 6-0 road trip. And the Giants coming into this Padres series had won 7 in a row. Now, how are the Giants doing it? Well, they're not doing it by kicking butt at home. They're only 18-17 at home. They've been doing it on the road. They're 21-15 on the road. They've won 9 in a row on the road. And if the season ended today, the Giants would be in the National League wild card. They would be in the National League wild card race, or they would be in the National League wild card game, I should say. They're the NL second wild card as we sit here. And if you look at how they've done it, you know, if they haven't done it in one-run games. They're only 7-8 in one-run games. They haven't done it by owning the division. They're only 8-7 against the NL West. Where they've really been good is they're 13-7 against the NL Central. And they've really been good against left-handed pitching, 12-6 against left-handed pitching. And they got a lot better once Austin Slater and Mitch Haniger and Casey Schmidt was recalled. Once those three right-handed bats started getting going, the Giants have done much better against left-handed pitching, 12-6 against lefties. And really the turnaround came when the Giants promoted the young guys. They promoted Casey Schmidt May 9th. They brought up Patrick Bailey on the 19th of May. And then Luis Matos was called up on June 14th. And really the impact has been huge up the middle. Schmidt's played short and second. Obviously Matos is in center field and Bailey behind the plate. And the additions to those three guys in the middle of the diamond have really helped the defense immeasurably. So, the Giants, it's really interesting if you look at their season by month. They went 11-16 in April, 17-12 in May, and 11-4 in June. Here's the big question. What do the Giants need to go to the playoffs? And I think most people would say they need more starting pitching. Now, the Giants out of the chute have gotten great performances out of Alex Cobb, Anthony DeSclafani, and Logan Webb. Those three starting pitchers have combined for 24 of the Giants' 25 quality starts. But the question is, do they need to add starting pitching in the trade market? And there's a bunch of guys. I was looking at a list of guys that are available that should be available for trades in the starting pitching category. And there's a bunch of them. Shane Bieber in Cleveland with the Guardians. He's been really good. There's a lot of talk the Guardians may shop him. The A's are going to shop Paul Blackburn. They're having a nightmare year. The White Sox may trade Lucas Giolito. Giolito's a big, powerful, top of the rotation kind of a starting pitcher. I love him. Zach Greinke in Kansas City could get dealt. Michael Lorenzen, the former Red, who's now in Detroit, may get moved. Aaron Nola of the Phillies, if the Phillies don't get in the race, Nola could be moved. Eduardo Rodriguez, who's now in Detroit, he could be available. Ex-Giant Drew Smyly is out there with the Cubs, and the Cubs also have Marcus Stroman. And Stroman, 7-4 with a 2.42 ERA. He's a big-time guy for sure. And now he's got a $20 million player option on 2024. So should the Giants trade for starting pitching? A lot of people are saying, yeah, they absolutely should. Now, they do have a lot of young players, and I would hate to see them, get rid of their young players, for an addition in 2023. But you know what? There's also another argument that says the Giants really need to prioritize going to the playoffs this year. And if they can get that starting pitching, they're probably going to be a playoff team, maybe a wild card team. Who knows? Maybe they can win the division. Maybe they can run down the Arizona Diamondbacks in the NL West. So the one thing that is also interesting is the Giants have two young lefties who look like they could be, the future of the rotation. These guys could be Madison Bumgarner, Tim Lincecum, Matt Cain type anchor starters. And let's talk about these guys. Kyle Harrison, who went to De La Salle High School out here in the East Bay, is in Sacramento, pitching for the River Cats. 6'2", 200-pound lefty. He's 21. And, this guy's got big-time stuff. He really does. I mean, he's got an awesome fastball that's probably mid to high 90s. He's now pitching well in AAA. This year he's had 14 starts, 47 and a third innings pitched, 80 strikeouts. That's a good number. He's 1-2 in the minor leagues with a 3.42 ERA. But 14 starts, 47 innings, 80 strikeouts. So he's overpowering. He's an overpowering young lefty, and he looks like the kind of guy that could be the Giants' ace. Now, you don't want to rush him, that's for sure. You don't want to send him back after he struggles, if he struggles. So you want to make sure that he's ready before you promote him. But Kyle Harrison supposedly just pitched 5 innings in a start for the first time at AAA the other day. And I asked Farhan Zaidi about him when we had him on 95.7 The Game on Friday. And Farhan's like, hey, once you're in AA, you're a phone call away. And he seemed to be kind of really, I don't want to say intent, but definitely open-minded to the idea of calling up Harrison at some point. And what an incredible pitcher Harrison may be. He may wind up being the Giants' ace going forward. They bought him out of his commitment to UCLA. They took they paid a below slot cost on their first round pick the year he came out in the amateur draft in the 2020 draft. He fell to the third round, 85th overall, not because of talent or lack of talent, is because most teams thought he was going to UCLA on a full ride. But the Giants said, you know what? We're going to go under slot with our first round pick. And then we're going to offer Harrison more than normal to buy him out of his UCLA commitment. And it worked. And they landed Harrison, and he has rocketed through the system. Last summer, he pitched in the Futures game, and he gave up 2 huge home runs. One to Jason Dominguez, the Yankee center field prospect. The other went to a guy named Walliner, who's a big first base prospect, who hit one out down the line. And both these were no doubt home runs. But Harrison's got huge talent, and he could be primed to have a breakthrough this year at the major league level. The other guy, though, that has been a little bit more of a surprise is Carson Whisenhunt, who actually, believe it or not, is older than Kyle Harrison. Whisenhunt's in AA. He plays for the Richmond Flying Squirrels. He's a 6'3" lefty who's 22. And he was born in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. Giants drafted him in the 2022 amateur draft in the second round overall out of East Carolina, 66th pick overall. So he was a very high pick, and obviously they have high expectations for Whisenhunt. But, man, to watch this guy pitch, he is impressive. I mean, we're talking high 90s fastball, 96, 97, but he's just got one of the greatest changeups you're ever going to see. And the arm action on the changeup is dirty. Like, there's nobody's going to hit this guy. I don't care what level he's on. And I saw the fastball changeup combo, and I was like, wow, that's incredible. So we asked Kyle Haynes, the Giants farm director, about it. He referred to it as a Bugs Bunny changeup. But anytime you can throw your fastball and your changeup from the same arm angle, and one pitch is 95 and the other pitch is 75 or 80, you're going to get a ton of swing and miss. And that's what this kid's got. He's 12 starts this year, 47 and 2/3 innings pitched, 68 strikeouts. He's got a 2.45 ERA in the minor leagues, and he's in AA. And I asked Farhan, I said, what do you think? AA. And he's like, yeah, once you reach AA, you're basically a phone call away. So, the Giants have a choice to make. Do they trade for starting pitching and maybe part ways with a big-time prospect or two? Maybe moving a Marco Luciano. If you want Lucas Giolito or Marcus Stroman, it's probably going to take somebody like Luciano to get that kind of a deal done. Or do they decide to hoard their prospects, not trade them, and just promote these 2 stud lefties? And if they do, there's potential that these 2 left-handed pitchers could lead the rotation going forward for the next 5 to 10 years. That's how good these guys are. So, it's going to be it's a nice problem to have for sure. The Giants have 2 awesome aces in their system, and they're both lefties. And, how incredible will it be if the Giants make it to October and you've got a Kyle Harrison and a Carson Whisenhunt potentially starting games in October, at age 21, 22, with all the young talent that we've already seen promoted to the big leagues. It's an exciting time to be a Giants fan for sure. So one thing, I would love to see them get Lucas Giolito. I'd love to see him get Marcus Stroman. But man, when you're sitting there and you've got Carson Wisenhunt and that crazy changeup, and you've got Kyle Harrison and his array of pitches, and both these guys are power lefties who look like aces, guys who could be number one or number two starters in your rotation. Man, I know Farhan's got to be tempted to not make any trade and just call up these two, two incredible young left-handed pitchers and just plug them into the rotation. To me, it's one of the interesting subplots of the upcoming summer is how long do the Giants go before they call up Harrison and Wisenhunt and let those guys really start to kick butt at the major league level. All right, hope you enjoyed our Giant video. Look for those two names, Kyle Harrison and Carson Wisenhunt, sometime this summer at Oracle Park. Hope you enjoyed our video. Thanks to Pig and a Pickle for being the title sponsor of the Krueger Show. Check them out in Emeryville and in Corte Madera. They're open 7 days a week in Marin. Wednesday through Sunday in Emeryville. Pig and a Pickle, the best barbecue in all of Northern California. And thanks to all of you for supporting the Krueger Show on YouTube.